Good morning. It's 8:49 a.m. and it is September the 29th of 2024. It's a Sunday. And so far it's been an okay weekend. To be honest, it's been okay. I haven't necessarily uh I took to well, I'll hold that thought. I took yesterday and went to the gym and just kind of like really relaxed and kind of got to myself because I felt like it was really important for me to, just kind of like take some space, some time and space away from like my normal dwelling space. And I was happy to do that. I was really happy. That's mainly the reason why I even set up the little membership over where I ended up being there, over where I ended up anyway. I was like, no, it gives me enough, it's enough space to where I can, the distance. I mean, it's like it gives me space between just like being where I normally am and kind of like, getting out and seeing something a little different. And then there's other things over there where if I needed to take care of some other stuff, I could take care of some other things. It's like post office over there. There's all kinds of little stuff where I can run errands and stuff too. So that's why I'm like, okay, cool. So I got a chance to do that yesterday and that was cool. There are a few things, and you know how my audio how they go by now. You should know. There are a few things I want to talk about today, and I don't really want to go too in depth about some things, but it's kind of hard for me to do it because I'm just kind of like that kind of person, right? I am that kind of person. Like if we gonna talk about it, we gonna talk about it, right? I'm one of those, and a lot of people they don't like to admit that they're afraid to talk to me because they don't want to face the real situation and they know that having a conversation with me, I'm going to bring up the real situation. There will be no illusions or anything like that. I'm not the kind of person who will sit down with someone knowing that a decision that they've made can cost them, and or cost me, and I'm gonna sit there and speak cryptically to you. I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not even gonna do that to myself. I would much rather have the conversation, face the hard shit, and then we move forward and do whatever else it is that we need to do, whether it be we move forward in an amicable way or we just move forward in this and go our separate ways. It just is what it is, right? No, I'm not trying to, on the slide, talk about a relationship situation. I'm not having any relationship issues. Like I said, I've been single for 14 years. Actually, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I think 15 years at this point. I think it's been 15 years. I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever. But you'll hear me say often that I've been single for 10 plus years. It's mainly by choice because I've been trying to figure out exactly, number one, the last 5 years, I've been trying to get back on my feet while I've been dealing with people who have deliberately interfered with my growth process because they felt that they needed to know every little detail about me as opposed to asking me. They decided to spy on me. And those spies caused a lot of issues in my life, in addition to people just in general holding grudges for things that could have literally been put on the table and resolved within moments. But, sometimes I notice that, and I didn't know that that kind of person or persons or personality existed. So that's good, because at least you know that there are those kinds of people out there who will, go to great lengths to cause issues and interferences and blockages and things like that just to laugh at you, just to have fun with your situation. just to waste your time that's valuable to your life, just to delay your dreams and your efforts. Um, I didn't know that those kinds of people actually existed. I know that I've been undergoing that type of attack or those kinds of attacks for many years. I just didn't know that there was a personality type attached to it. I thought that it was just, like, oh, how unfortunate. Okay, maybe I got something wrong. Let me go back to the drawing board. I thought it was me for a very long time. And that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that the situation happened and I'm able to see that it wasn't me. And I'm really happy about that. And that's where a lot of my peace comes from because I'm like, no, it wasn't you. It was not you, baby. There was really an outside source that was, I wouldn't even say source because that's definitely the wrong word, but an outside force. There we go. Um, where they were orchestrating shit against you in secret to keep you from growing. And I think that we live in a society where people they're so private and they're so fake. You get what I'm saying? To where everybody wants to keep up this persona, and there's nothing wrong with that. I get that, right? But they look at someone like me who has no problem with transparency. And I truly do believe that part of my purpose in the world is to, kind of speak my piece and allow other people to feel at peace with knowing that they're not by themselves with the feelings that they have, with knowing that, you know, some of the experiences that they may have gone through or how they even handled certain situations, you know, it's normal, it's healthy, it's okay. All right. And I don't think a lot of people see it that way. I think that people see what I'm going through and how I choose to express myself as a form of, I don't know, I guess maybe like some kind of desperation to be seen or heard or something. Trust me, that's not it. If I had it my way, I would probably just, you know, still be minding my business, which I do every day, and just kind of be to myself without necessarily expressing my feelings, thoughts, or opinions on anything. One of the reasons that I started to vlog and do my voice memos was because I was being silenced. And I noticed that there was a lot that was being said and done, said about me and done to me, that was connecting. And I also saw that there were some issues that had been going on in my life within that current moment that connected to past moments. And as I sat in silence for years, actually, as I sat in silence, I realized that I was being I was being painted out to be a villain. I was being painted out to be someone that I wasn't. I also realized that I was being attacked by people who were on the same accord. So I wasn't sure if it was some type of group, some type of gang, some type of organization, I didn't know what the heck was going on. But one thing I did know was that when it came down to me being, almost run off the road, when it came down to people harassing me and breaking into my place, when it came down to me being harassed on my job and all this stuff like kind of working together while I'm sitting up here trying to raise my family. And then I end up having to, go into, this completely different chapter of my life. starting again, and then again after that, and again after that, because people keep tearing down what I'm trying to do, and there's no reason for it, right? That's why you hear me speaking up. And I'm still speaking up in a certain manner that won't put people in jail or won't put people on blast in any kind of way, right? Because the reality is that people can sit back and say that I don't have proof, but they know different. So I'm not interested in being a part of whatever it is that people out there that seem to be stalking me are involved in. I am completely okay being in my own lane. I'm completely okay with having my little business here and there, and when I say here and there, I mean like having my own business and doing what I need to do and traveling around to do what it is that I need to do. I'm okay with raising my family. I am okay with being at home and enjoying, the fruits of my labor. I am okay with putting in the work so that I can see my lineage succeed down the line. I'm okay with that. I'm not a simple person. I'm not simple minded. I just have my priorities in line. And there have been, unfortunately, people who have unanimously decided that they wanted to paint a terrible picture of me for whatever reason, and then allow people to carry on that narrative so that it would eventually cause blockages in my life and in my progress. Okay, I mean, we're talking about me starting a business and I'm spending months and months and months building a vendors list, right? Night and day. I kind of get like that when I'm building something. I get really obsessive about it. It's a beautiful feeling, okay? Let me have it. So, but it was months that I spent building a vendors list and gathering information and reaching out to vendors overseas and things like that. Even at one point considering hopping on a plane and traveling over just so that I can see if I could refine my sample ordering process a little bit better. I felt like it would be better to be in the building as opposed to, just ordering, right? And so I said, let me build myself a vendors list. I was going to open up an online department store. And so, which is what Poised Edge was going to be. Poised Edge was going to start off small and eventually grow into an online department store. Black owned, with all black owned products, basically. And that concept, I had been working on that since like 2013, 2014. And we were supposed to launch in I think it was 2015 or 2016. I established it in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. But the concept was already built and planned out, and everything was in line to launch by 2015. So I built like an online mood board. I was just having fun with it. Like I have a way with whenever I'm passionate about something, I have a way in how I celebrate that passion when it comes to whatever that is. And if it's like on social media or something, usually I love to like color code things. I love to create mood boards and you know what I mean, and celebrate like energy that aligns with what I'm building and all that good stuff, right? So things that make people feel good, when they see it. So I had noticed that some of my that when my storages and things like that were purchased out of nowhere, um, I noticed that my all of my stuff, because I have an eye. I definitely have a knack for interior design, and I love things that are very different. And because my mother used to have an online, well, it wasn't an online furniture store, but it was a mail order furniture store. Because we're talking about the 90s and early 2000s, so there really wasn't a whole lot online going on. But my mother used to own and operate a mail order furniture store, which is what a lot of people don't know. And I learned a lot from her during that time of our lives where it was like, okay, this is what we do with freight and shipping. This is how you set your business up. This is how you get your licensing. This is how you do, so a lot of what I love to do, it comes organically. And so sometimes people will see my passion and they want to steal it, and it's not something that can be stolen because it's within me. It's something I was raised with. You get me? So I just grew up watching my mother, you know, operate businesses that were Black owned, independently owned, and she she never really had any help outside of me. So I learned how to operate a business by yourself. So, and she had to be everything. And she used to always tell me, it's hard to be the boss, but if you're a real boss, you've got to learn how to do the books and sweep the floors and be okay with both. And I love that she taught that to me because that's what kept me humble growing up, is watching her go through the ups and downs of owning her own business because it was tough, but we still had to live. So she hustled. And so for me, she raised me to go to school and work. She said, you go to school and work and then you have a business on the side, and she was very, very happy to hear that I wanted to go into the clothing business. I'll tell you guys about that in my book because I don't really feel like talking about that too much. I don't want to overshare, right? So, but the story is, I definitely have a story. It just is what it is. So anyway, moving forward, I noticed that a lot of the unique pieces that I had already prepared to carry and was setting up freight and shipping for, and getting all of my little stuff together and all that, I had noticed that I was seeing a lot of my pieces floating around online, right? And I was like, what is going on? That's crazy. Because it was like, your vibe. Because see, my vibe is very different. My mother's vibe was very different. My mother did a lot of traveling. I grew up around a lot of different people. So our taste in furniture and decor, it is a little different. It's a little different. It's a little eclectic. You got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know. And I just started noticing that style being duplicated everywhere. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Because I wasn't seeing that before. But once my storages started to, once my storages were sold and stuff like that, because the storages were sold um, well before the bill was due. So that off top, I was like, there's something wrong there. So once that happened, I started to see certain things happening online. And I said, I don't know what this is about, but whatever. So, I'm pretty sure people can put two and two together, because I put two and two together and I didn't really worry about it too much. I just kept it moving. I mean, the vendors, they probably got more business out of whoever it was that, got a hold of my data and my files and all of my, my information there. They probably got way more business out of them than they would have ever gotten out of me. Being an independently owned department store with limited budget, and I'm self-funding also, So I look at it from that perspective. I don't look at it from the perspective of, like, how dare they, like, I don't look at it like that. I just look at it like, well, so at least somebody was able to make good business out of it. You know, I, unfortunately, because I work independently, have to I have to take my time because usually things are self-funded and I have to work and save the money and then invest in my business. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I talk about that in my audio vlogs and stuff like that. So I wanted to touch on that for a second, but then I also want to just kind of like run it back just a little bit, right? A lot of people think that because of the way that I express myself, that I'm supposed to be on some type of desperation journey or something like that, looking for attention and this and that. And like I said before, no, I had to speak up. I had to speak up because it was so important for me to make sure that people understood that, number one, I don't like you playing with me like that. I'm still a human being. And I don't care what it looks like. And I don't care how many guns are involved and how many people are organized against me. I promise you, I'm still going to speak my mind because I have every right to. No one should have targeted me to begin with. Nobody should have done that to me. A lot of things were done off of lies. A lot of things were done with deception in mind. A lot of things were done to literally sabotage and ruin my name. And people knew that I was quiet about it. They knew that. It was like, let's poke the bear to test and see, if she's going to come out roaring. And it's like, uh, first of all, I don't roar. Okay. I don't roar. And second of all, I don't want you poking me. And that should be enough for you not to poke me. Okay. That's just coming from a mature aspect. Not coming from a mindset of, oh, well, I can if I want to, and I can do what I want, and, you're just going to deal with. No, that's not how that goes with me. I sat back and I watched for years. I watched the slander. I watched it was not a lie. It was not made up. It did happen. All of that. And it is what it is. And you caused a mess. You did. So, and I'm not even sure, why, to be honest. I'm not worried about us being even at all because I was never in competition with anyone. I was never up against anyone. I was never trying to be anyone. I was never challenging anyone. I don't do that. I just chill and stay in my own lane. So, and whatever lane that may be, it's still my lane. People are like, oh my God, she's over here and she's, selling hair products now. That's not your lane. Yes, it is, because I'm in it. And I'm going to be obsessive about whatever it is that I'm doing and whatever lane that I'm in. And I don't see that as being arrogant. I see it as just being myself and being an independent and saying, okay, cool. This is what lane I'm in. All right, great. I've already done enough research. I know who all is in this lane. I know I'm going to be the small fish around here because I'm independent. And that's enough for me to know. But that doesn't mean that all the big fish that are in that lane are supposed to attack me. That's not what that means. That means that you see me there and you continue doing what it is that you do. Because more than likely, I'm not in the business of competing with other people's businesses and trying to take their businesses down. I'm a small business owner. You get what I'm saying? Even when I incorporate, I still don't plan on having millions and billions of clients. because I believe in providing a quality service to only a select few people. I'm not interested in having millions and billions of clients. That is not my stilo. But see, people would have known that if they would have asked me. So, anyway, moving forward, you guys. Let me see. There's some other things that I wanted to address. Some people, because this has been going on for so long, some people think that I'm holding on to something, and I'm not. I'm not holding on to anything. What you see me doing is you see me addressing things that are being said to me behind the scenes. I am responding. Okay. So, but I think that it's done in such a way where it makes it seem as if I'm obsessing about something. I'm not obsessing about anything. If you see me hop on your page or something on a social media platform, it's because they put you on, the algorithm placed you on my feed. If you see me watching a video on YouTube, more than likely it's because the algorithm placed you on my feed. I just turned my history on, by the way, like literally last night, and then fell asleep after I did it. So I'm not necessarily, I don't even have my history on to where I can find, because YouTube decided that they wanted to do that whole, when you start the page, you go to the home page, it's like, oh, we'll put something in so that we know what you're interested in and this and that. They started that. Everybody knows why they started that. So anyway, moving forward. My history is not, it just got turned on. So therefore, and I might turn it back off because I feel like there's really no, like, if I'm going to go on to YT, there's no reason for me to see 1,000 other videos that are in relation to what I'm actually looking for. And I don't need suggested videos because that's part of how I was attacked before, is through the suggested videos too. So I'm kind of like, no, if I want to look up something, like for example, I was looking up something that had to do with human biology the other day, or human analogy. The human anatomy. There we go, y'all. Sorry, I just woke up. Give me a chance to get it together, okay? But no, it had something to do with the human anatomy, and I was just like, I just want to look up some information really quickly. I don't need like 1,000 videos. I just need like one or two to just introduce me to whatever this is so that I can, kind of draw my own conclusion and then go and do some more research with real books. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of reluctant about the whole history situation. So we'll see. I'm going to give it a couple days. If I don't like it, then I'll turn it back off or whatever. But yeah, so that's the thing. So basically what I'm saying is, very seldomly do I go looking for people. Okay, so there is no desperation when it comes to me trying to be seen, heard, or anything like that. What I am doing is I am making sure that my voice is heard in a certain capacity. I'm making sure that if there's something that needs to be addressed, it's addressed. I'm not going to spend too much time doing that after so long, okay? But I think it's necessary, all right? I think it's very necessary. But I also know that there are people who have an issue with me expressing myself because they've done so much behind the scene and they've contributed so much behind the scene to why I need to express myself. And that bothers them. And some of these people are some of the same people who spread some of the slander. Okay, they just happen to be popular, and I'm not that popular in that world. Okay, so I'm not the popular type. I've never been, and I've never really had a desire to be ever. Okay, I have a personality, and people think that when I show my personality, they're like, "Oh, wow, she's actually like, okay, interesting. All right." And then they see me when I'm relaxed and they're like, "Oh, well, she was being fake then." It's like, "No, I'm chilling. This is a different part of who I am, a different side of who I am." You know, um but I think that when you're around people who constantly their actions and their words are orchestrated and they're being fed the information that they need to say and the whole nine, it's like everything's a damn show. So I could understand where it makes you feel that someone's being fake when they're really being genuine, because anybody and everybody knows that real human beings have different parts and different sides of their personalities. You've got your personality when you go out, you got your personality when you stay in, you've got your personality when you're amongst your coworkers, you have your personality when you're amongst your peers. It's kind of like people know that's normal. That's hella normal. So for someone to try and create something else out of that, that's crazy to me. That's really crazy to me. I'm like, that person's not, they must not be used to being around like normal people. It's nothing wrong with being normal. You can be extraordinary and still be normal. I think that because we're being forced to, we're being forced in a way, I'll say that, to sacrifice parts of ourselves just so that we can, have some form of success or something like that. And it's just like, I get it, but I'm going to choose me every time. I'm going to choose me every time because I value me and being who I am and the peace that comes along with that more than somebody paying me to be somebody else, where I have no peace because I'm constantly looking over at that person, asking them, I'm looking over at that person for reassurance. Like, no, the fuck? I don't need nobody to reassure me on how to be me. You serious? Hell no. Fuck I look like. you know, they say, oh, she's hella dumb and this and that. She's acting stupid and this and that. I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to lie to you. Baby, listen. I have spent my life raising children, working, and taking classes wherever I could. All right. I had a whole cult do exactly what has been done to me, to my mother and me, and completely shattered our relationship. So I didn't even have the luxury of having my mother around during my adult years to explain to me what could happen, what was due to happen, any of that. It just kind of like crept up on me. All right. So I had to kind of figure out how to be me, survive as me, be a parent, be a student, ongoing student. And I'm actually a really good student. I love to learn. But, just I had to be all these different women. And there was absolutely no one there to teach me how to do that. I had a really good mother who taught me so many wonderful things and so many fundamentals that I had a good foundation to where I was able to make it and figure out life to a certain extent and raise good kids and run a good household. And for a little while, I was a good woman to, a wandering man. All right. So I prefer to not lean into that whole, oh, stupidity and all that shit. It's kind of like, listen, everyone has their story. And if you're not willing to educate that person, and I mean with the real information, then stop labeling them. You get what I'm saying? Stop labeling them. Because that person's level of intelligence could be something that can literally can run circles around you in certain areas. Whereas you have a level of intelligence that can run circles around them. So why not teach each other as opposed to just passing all this fucked up energy and saying, oh, well, we don't. Listen, I can go deeper into it, but you already know. There's really no reason for me to speak on it anymore. But I'm definitely addressing it because it's just time to stop all that. It's time to stop all that, you know? Um, the reality is that we all have our time where we truly arrive in life. But the rest of the time leading up to that, baby, you learning. You're learning, you're failing, you're going through life, trial and error. And if you're not willing to accept people who are going